What is it?
The stuff that dreams are made of.
Huh?
Stuff dreams are made of, art and movies and all that good stuff. I love that opening. You know, I always joke about that music as time goes by. It's from the war era, and there's something magical about it. There's something magical about the lady who's my guest tonight. She's a dear friend, an artist, and she went to Paris. We'll always have Paris, as Bogart said. And she came back with some real goodies, some real nice art treasures. Vicki Chelf is here tonight, looking as beautiful as ever. How are you, dear?
I'm great.
Did I say it right? Did I Chelf?
You said it right. You said it
is
right.
Is it Chelf? I was wanting to say.
It's like a shelf with a C rather than an S. So
but it's also
shelf.
like I always look at your name. It's like Vicki Chef.
And people think chef too because I.
And you did a book. You did that wonderful book with
the Pulp Kitchen book.
Pulp Kitchen with you as a brunette. I love your hair though.
Thank you, Purple.
But you, without any further ado, we know each other from used to be over at the Trading Company.
Yeah.
Used to be an artist in residence over there.
Yes, I painted in the back there for about 4.5 years.
Yeah, and it's a great, and you kind of, anyway, you just had an opening a couple weeks ago. I saw it. All of us were from Trading Company. Were down there, and half the city was there.
We had a huge turnout.
Art Avenue, which is, tell the people, the Art Avenue, which is right down from, it used to be, what's the restaurant that was there?
Well, there's Classico,
Right.
then there's Art Ovation, and Art Avenue is just sort of between the two.
But Side and Sticker's place, the restaurant that was there, Kojo's.
Oh, yeah, it's right next to Kojo's.
It's right next to
still,
Kojo's.
Kojo's is
So that's
there,
where you're
yeah.
going to be. And I have to tell you, this exhibit, of course, we have a picture. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is Hedy Lamarr. This is from 1942, same year as the Great Casablanca was made. This is considered to be one of the most beautiful ladies in the history of Hollywood, for sure.
And also one of the smartest.
And one of the smartest, especially. Yeah. The most talented. And we'll tell you what she was known for in her, like her acumen for scientific and kind of a cool technology thing. But you went to Paris recently.
Actually, briefly in Paris, but I was in central France, in Auvergne.
Okay.
Visiting my ex-husband, Jean.
I love that. And that's almost like a small little art house movie at Burns Court. You went there with your Jean.
With my John.
Who I love. And then you went with your ex.
Very French.
That's a very French thing.
But we all get along great.
Yes, apparently. You have a choice.
And we helped Jean clean out his new house. He's moved to the Auvergne.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
Small village.
Isn't that the way to be, though?
Oh, yeah. And I love it there. But I found these piles of illustrated newspapers from 1913 to 1959. I've got a couple of years.
When you say magazines, were they, because the movie that's just out right now is the French Dispatch, you know, the Wes Anderson film. So what were these, just periodical trade papers?
They were actually made by the Catholic Church.
No kidding.
And they were sort of an overall kind of human interest kind of magazine.
So it wasn't hard news, or was it?
A little bit. They had like political satire.
Right.
They had cartoons. They had gorgeous, gorgeous illustrations.
So you see this pile of stuff.
And they were wet and they were dirty. And I thought, oh my God, these are rotten, because the basement was, it had a broken pipe.
My God. And where was this? Was this at John's house?
Yeah, John's new house that he just bought.
So they were in that new residence that he was going to move into?
Under the staircase, hidden in this like falling apart armoire. And so I rescued them. I spread them out, dried them out. I knew I wanted to do something, but I didn't know what. And every small town has a resistance museum, because that was a very important part of French history during the 20th century.
Yes.
And I visited the museum, and I found myself absolutely just sobbing. I couldn't control myself. Learning about what went on and how brave the people were in that area in that time. The Auvergne, where we were, was a very hotbed of resistance activity. And the woman who ran the museum, her mother was actually a resistance fighter.
Wow.
And so it was I was so moved. She was a beautiful woman, too.
Did you find it to be the light bulb in your head that went off, the organic nature of this all happening, that serendipitous fate, if you will? You find these magazines, you meet her, you're in this spot. When did you put the dots together to say you're going to create? Because we're going to show these nice folks out there. I think we have 5 pieces that you sent us.
I think
and we're,
you
and we're going to
five,
have some film clips that accompany that. So we're doing a little tie into the movies.
Cool.
And the first one we're going to show, but that little, was it an aha moment or was it kind of a gradual?
Definitely, because I wanted to do something with the magazines or newspaper. They're on newsprint.
Yes.
A colored newsprint. And I didn't know what, but when I visited the Resistance Museum, heard the story of the women of the Resistance, that's what I decided I was going to do, because art to me, I'm not the most commercial artist in town, and art to me has to mean something, or I'm not going to bother.
Yes.
I'll do commissions, I'll paint anything someone wants as a commission.
Sure.
But when I do my own art,
for your time, when you put your time in,
it has to mean something.
So the first one that we have is going to be Hedy Lamarr. But I'm going to go to a clip first, and this is kind of an obscure little film from 1944 called The Conspirators. 1944, it's with a man named Paul Henreid, who was also in Casablanca, who was the one that Ilsa leaves with, doesn't stay with Rick. She goes with, with Victor Laszlo. And, but this is 1944. This is with Hedy Lamarr, 1944. And then we're going to come back and take a look at your version of what you found and what you put together with this brilliant woman, Hedy Lamarr. Let's take a look at Conspirators first.
So beautiful.
But so deadly.
The continent's most dangerous spy. Forget everything else. Forget whatever is holding you here.
But
I don't care about the past.
You don't know.
I don't want to know any more than this.
That's cool because we got Peter Lorre and he's like looking at it, almost like he's looking at through the newspapers. So now there it is. There is the piece that you did. I want you to dive into how you did this.
Okay, I would love for people to see it in person because it's so much more beautiful in person.
Oh my God, yes.
But I collaged, they're 36 by 48. I collaged newspapers that I thought were, each painting that I did, I chose newspapers that I thought were pertinent to that
To the subject
woman.
matter.
Yeah. And so I collaged them onto a large canvas with an acrylic medium. And yeah, look down at the bottom. Show the very, very bottom corner under the bomb. Under the...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I found actually a swastika.
Oh, wow.
And, when I went to find an image for her, I chose this sort of dancing image. And so she invented, she was Howard Hughes' girlfriend for a while.
One of his girlfriends.
One of his girlfriends. And he realized how brilliant she was. And he told all of his engineers in his aeronautical company or whatever it was to tell her anything she wanted to know, teach her. And
yeah, she was very, very curious.
Yes. And so she got to learn engineering from hanging out there. And so she invented something that was called spread spectrum technology that was actually inspired. She invented it with a musician. It was inspired by player piano rolls.
Yes.
And it was intended to intercept the missiles, the submarine missiles, and stop them.
Yeah.
And of course, the Navy thought, well, she's just an actress.
Just a beautiful
and
face.
Just a beautiful woman.
Right.
And so they didn't accept her technology until the 60s.
Yes.
And so she still wanted to do something
She
for
was
the
still
war
dabbling
effort.
with it.
Well, it got accepted in the
Right.
60s, and then
Yeah.
it actually became the basis for cell phones and Bluetooth,
You get
and
Wi-Fi.
all the technology that's so important to us
Unbelievable.
today. But, okay, here's what's really crazy. They didn't accept her invention, but they said, well, do something, to raise money for us. Why don't you, sell war bonds?
Right.
So she did shows all around the U.S., and she would bring up a serviceman from the audience, and she would ask the audience, should I kiss him? And they would go, yes, yes, yes. And she'd say, okay, buy war bonds.
Oh.
She raised, and in the day, it was huge, she raised $28 million in 10 days.
Oh my God, that's a lot of kisses. And you know what? When you look at her, listen, men are going to pay a few bucks to kiss that beautiful woman.
She was-
But what a bright, ahead of her time. This piece, though, this piece.
So
sits,
that's why I put the lipstick and then the
And
bomb.
how large? This is on
36 by 48.
36 by 48. And would you mind telling the price point of this? Because this is a wonderful.
He's got them at 7,800.
I think that's a great price. This is a
Well,
won-
I'm never going to have those newspapers again.
No,
you
it's a
know,
one of a
those
kind-
are
it's a onesie,
from
right?
1935.
So this is an original piece of art.
Yeah.
So tell me, the image of her, is she painted or is that?
She's painted, and I use a technique called grisaille. It's
So she's hand. You painted that? You painted that?
well, of course, Gus. You've seen me paint.
No,
for you.
I know. But what I'm saying is, I'm stunned by this because it feels like a movie scene. Is what I'm saying. That's how good it is.
Well, it was. I found a picture of her. I think she was
then you-
leaning on something, or I think she was leaning or
love
something
it.
like that. But I took away the pedestal to make it look like
I
almost
love
a
it.
dance kind of pose, and I made the bomb.
Oh, I
Could
love it.
come out of her. When I found the images, and then I chose the image of her. I wanted to use. and
Keep talking, Vicki. I want you to talk about this piece, but I want to go full screen if I can to this. Can we do that, Carrie? Can we go full screen to the audience?
It's on full screen.
Oh, it is on full screen?
She's going to.
Yeah, I mean, I like it to be to the public out there as and please go see it.
Yeah, because it's so much richer
go
and more
see it.
subtle.
It's so big and gorgeous because you have them all set up next to each other. What a display! I'm so proud of you. It was such a great.
Oh, I'm so
Such a great
pleased
house.
with and he's got paintings from.
So this is one. That's very reasonable. 7,500. Paul has it down there. What's Paul's
yeah.
last name? I forget.
Stykes.
Paul Stykes, and it's a
Art
wonderful
Avenue is the name of the gallery.
Art Avenue. It's a wonderful place. This is a small town. We all support each other's theater, the live arts, the theatrical arts, the arts. I mean, Andrew over at Sarasota State Auction. And he was very impressed with this.
Yeah, Andrew really liked
liked
it. Yeah.
this. I love this. I love this piece. Without further ado, I don't want to, but I can't stop looking at Hedy Lamarr. $28 million she raised.
Yes,
That's
in 10 days.
Yeah,
So she didn't fight the Nazis with her technology
Yes.
like she wanted, but she.
Sex appeal.
With-
One way or the other.
So that's
she
why
fought.
I made the lipstick
I
turn
love
into
it.
a bomb.
I think it's a great move. And those are the actual. Did you have to dry them out?
I had to dry them out, flatten them out.
That's a lot of work.
It
People
was a lot
don't-
of work. I
people don't
spent
realize.
time
Yeah.
trying to, preserving the newspapers, and I'm waiting a little bit longer. It's about ready now. I can cure for the paint to really cure. Then I'm going to put a UV protective
cool.
varnish over the whole
Over
thing,
that.
so the
And
newspapers.
you signed it. Where do you sign? Because we're always interested.
It's
Me
signed
and
right
Jay and
there.
I. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
signed one in a silver pen, I guess.
No, it's just white paint.
White paint.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, Gus, I've been at the trading company so much, and I've seen people trying to figure out who did that painting. I can't read the signature. I
So you
try to
took
make
some
mine
time.
pretty. I try to make my signature clear, so
No, that's good.
100 years from now or 50
That's
years
it.
from now,
I think
people
it's-
aren't
I think
saying,
it's a timeless
who
piece.
did that?
I'm going to tell you, this thing has legs. This piece, I'm not just saying because she has legs. This piece has legs. I'm serious. This is gorgeous. This is timeless. Josephine Baker is your second protagonist. I have a little clip that enhances what we're going to talk about, but then we're going to go
Cool.
to this. But let's go a little bit of Josephine Baker, and Vicky's going to tell you why she was noted.
Parisians had never seen anything like it. It wasn't ballet or burlesque. It wasn't a tribal dance. It was the spirit of an era. It was about laughter, desire, freedom. In front of white audiences, Josephine played out her life.
Every day is a cloudy day for me. Since good luck came knocking at my door.
I want you to know that this is the happiest day of my entire life.
She turned her fame into a weapon to fight injustice. This is the story of the first black star in history.
Now, that image.
So Vicky's telling me in the break there she's painting that last image you saw. You're painting that right now. That side shot.
Almost finished, yeah.
Oh, really? So you're painting another one of her?
Yeah, I mean, I did 2 of Hedy Lamarr,
with
2
the
of
background?
Josephine
Oh,
Baker.
you did another one of Hedy Lamarr?
Yeah.
It
I've
wasn't
got
at the
2.
exhibit,
It
though.
was. She had
no, that's right.
hands in her hair.
that's
and
right.
It was a portrait rather than full
Is that
body.
one also in that price point range?
Yeah, they're all the same price.
7,500? I think they're outstanding. I would up these a little bit.
Some guy came by the other day and he said, "Why are these so cheap?"
I would put them at 10. I would. 10 sounds better than 7,500. I mean, I said. See, that's a salesman in me. Anyway, Josephine Baker. Now you went big with the face here.
Yeah, because people just think of her as her body.
Oh,
For her
I see
body.
what you're doing.
I wanted her to be a person.
I love it.
And I'm doing her body now, but first I wanted to do her just a portrait. And
did it go through your mind as to how you want to portray her? Did you do sketches on paper first?
No, I looked for photo imagery,
And
but
then it hits
I
you.
spent half a day looking at,
Yeah.
scouting all over the internet for the right image.
Yes.
To go
I think
with
it's
this
wonderful.
series, and I really love her because she was a spy.
Yes.
She had a lot of depth, this woman.
Yes.
But she was the hottest performer in Europe during that time, and everyone wanted to be close to her. Everyone wanted to be near her, and perhaps because she was black, and also because she was a woman, people felt free. These generals and big.
They felt able to speak.
They spoke around her.
That's
And
interesting.
she acted like a ditzy performer, charming, ha ha ha. But she remembered everything. And
That's
she
so
also took
interesting.
notes in invisible ink. And she took notes that she smuggled out in her underwear. And she was a very valuable spy to the Allies.
Wow. That's amazing, and that's why I love doing shows like this. It teaches you about the art, and I did not know that about her. But
I didn't know that about
This is
her
one of the
until-
first African American stars.
Yeah.
Ever.
Probably the first.
And she was in the circa in the 20s. Then was she not in the 19?
Well, no, I think it was more in the U.S. maybe in the.
Yeah.
She was performing during the wartime,
Yeah,
I
during
believe.
World War
I'm
II.
not good with dates, Gus. I'm sorry.
But this piece here, before you.
But she was a hot performer
Before
during
you
the
hit
war.
on this, I want the process. How many did you throw out? Did you throw things out? Or is this
No. I've worked my butt off for many, many years to learn how to paint. So if I decide to paint with reference, I can.
I'm fascinated, and this is my
usually pull it off.
naivety. That's a painted item on top of this newspaper.
On top, and you see all the wrinkles in the newspaper and everything.
love it. I love
But
it.
I want to tell you something else about her that not everyone knows. That she adopted, I believe it was 10 children.
Oh, wonderful.
From after the war, from different nationalities, from all over the world. She bought herself a castle in southwest France. I've visited her castle.
No kid. On this trip, did you visit?
No,
Or another time.
Another time. And she lived there with all of her children, adopted children, and she wanted to prove that people from different cultures, races, nationalities could live together
Absolutely.
happily and in harmony.
I believe that. I believe
And
that.
her experiment went so-so, but
Good for her. Good for her that she tried to do it.
but she tried.
No, that's
she
all
tried.
you can do is try.
Yeah.
I think it's a.
And
I think-
again, just like Hedy Lamarr, her life ended pretty much in poverty.
Yeah.
She ended up losing her chateau.
That's sad.
And Hedy Lamarr, you know, she was arrested in Miami for shoplifting near the end of her
God.
life. I mean, just sad.
Oh, I hate to hear tales like that.
It's
heartbreaking.
it's
especially
heartbreaking.
She invented that technology.
and yeah, how much she did.
That's
you
why I
know,
want
and-
you to up this price. I want this to be 10,000. If it's 75, it can be 10.
I'll tell Paul.
I'm going to talk to Paul.
Paul.
So Lee
does the
Miller is the
prices.
third protagonist. We have another short film clip to accompany.
Oh, cool! I want to see. I haven't seen this. I
This
wanna
is
see
Lee
this.
Miller, who's number 3 of Vicky's Profiles in Courage, as Marty Fugate said in a wonderful article he did in the.
Oh, I
the
love
Herald
Marty's
Tribune.
writing. It
He is
looks
beautifully well done
beautiful.
piece. Lee Miller, and we're going to tell you what she did, but let's take a look at this clip.
She did so much with an extraordinary amount of courage. It's very hard, I think, for women today to understand the degree of the risks that she took.
You see that in Lee Miller's eyes. There is a flame there that is ignited when you see those photographs.
She went for it, whatever it was. She didn't let any of the conventions of being a woman hold her back.
I hope no one will ever forget the subject matter for those pictures. I won't.
So I had never heard of her.
Well, there's been
And-
an exhibition at the Dali of her.
And that's
lately.
the first time, before I even saw your exhibit, I saw her name, Lee Miller, and that's what's wonderful about art. So tell me what a piece this is. This is almost
I love
like
this
a
one.
Grecian goddess. Here.
Oh, she's just so gorgeous. Let me tell you a little bit about
Sure.
how she became a model. This is just like something that
Yeah.
has probably been in movies, this crazy scene. She was living in Manhattan. She was quite young.
Right.
And she was crossing a busy street. She ran into a man, or they bumped into each other. She fell down. He picked her up and said, "Oh my God, you are stunning. I'm the editor of Vogue."
Oh my God, that's really true.
Yes.
That's fabulous. Is that really true?
Yeah, that's what I read.
That's,
And
you know what? Even if it's not true, that's how
It's a great
that's how
story.
it should read.
So,
Because that's a great story.
okay, not sad. This was actually from an ad for the very first advertisement for a feminine hygiene product.
Thank you,
Ever.
lady. Literally, lady. See, I always get it. And by the way, Jerry Lewis is loved in France, so I can do the Jerry Lewis all day long.
But okay, let me.
Yeah, no, go
Okay.
ahead.
So she wasn't content with being a model.
Right.
She wanted to become a photographer, and she started studying photography. But then at one point, she wanted to be an art photographer, and she wanted to learn. She wanted to be part of the Parisian art scene. So she moved to Paris, and she showed up at the door of surrealist photographer Man Ray.
Of course.
And she said, I'm Lee Miller. I'm here to be your student and your apprentice.
And your muse.
And he said, no. He said, dear, I do not take students nor apprentices. And she wouldn't take no for an answer. And she did become his lover and his muse. But she did become his student and his apprentice. And she did fashion photography, but she also did art photography.
Wow.
And what my qualm with the Dali exhibition was they focused on her celebrity portraits.
I see.
You know, she hung with Jacques Cocteau, Picasso, Max Ernst, you know, all of the top of the
And you wanted more of the regular folk.
I wanted to know about her war photography.
Okay.
Because that's what I learned about in art school.
Yeah.
When I went to Ringling, you know, that's what I learned about of Lee Miller. You know, during the war, you know, most of the surrealists, they, you know, went to the U.S. They stayed in Paris safely. She became a war correspondent, and she did some of the most gritty, awful photographs of war to expose.
She got down in the trenches.
She got down in the trenches. She went into the concentration camps. She
was a rounded person, and that's what the theme of the three people. They weren't content, Hedy Lamarr, to be the most beautiful woman and an actress. She kept designing things. Same with Josephine Baker.
Yeah.
She became a spy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
This woman here, not enough to be a model and a photographer, and just always self-actualizing.
They
growing.
wanted to serve.
Is that part of the theme of what the resistance means to you in terms of women and their empowering of women?
Well, it's their bravery, and it's their, you know, all of these women, they were doing selfless service.
Yes. This one might, as much as I love Hedy, this one might be my favorite thus far.
I love this painting.
I think it's fabulous.
I love the Hedy Lamarr.
$10,000.
Everyone notices
$10,000 down at the gallery.
Everyone notices the Hedy Lamarr one first because it's a little flashier.
Yes.
But I love this painting.
I love it too. The fourth one, and we have a clip as well. Nancy Wake, Gestapo's Most Wanted. Let's do a short clip of Nancy Wake. We'll find out who she was, and then we'll look at the wonderful interpretation that Vicki has done for us.
Caught on the front line of a war she didn't need to fight.
I got a lot from Nancy Wake. She was the real deal.
Swapping French luxury for the French resistance. Nancy Wake became the most wanted woman in Europe.
If you don't do it, I will.
Yes, there were deaths, yes, there were tears, but she was a flower that bloomed in wartime.
A dangerous time to live. A dangerous time to fall in love. And now, she can never go back home.
You were born lucky, Nancy.
Born to attract trouble.
Same thing, isn't it?
So that's Nancy Wake. What did Vicki Shelf do with Nancy Wake? Let's see the piece. And that's her right there. Wow. Wow, wow.
And I'll tell
Did you know a lot about these women?
No, nothing.
Did you know? You knew a little bit about Hedy Lamarr. You knew about
a little bit, and Josephine Baker.
Right.
You know, I knew her music, but
so a lot of the research of being an artist, not just dabbling. You got to go in and get in the weeds with this stuff and learn.
Well, when I decided to paint this series to start on it, I went to Google. You know, what does one do?
That's the wonderful thing about our technology today.
So I went to Google and I just Googled beautiful women of the French Resistance.
Oh wow! Okay, that was a starting point for you.
Yeah.
So what does this one mean to you versus the other three that we've seen?
Okay, she is very interesting, and I had never heard of her before this, but she was a working class girl from born in New Zealand, I believe,
Really?
who moved to Paris, became a journalist, married a wealthy industrialist, became a socialite, and when she saw what the Nazis were doing,
right,
she tried to warn the Parisians through journalism of, you know, there's some bad
impending
stuff going.
doom.
Yeah, there's bad stuff going down here.
Right.
And well, it didn't work.
And they weren't listening to her because she was a woman. You
well,
think?
no, I don't know. You know.
Could be.
Could
Possibly,
be.
sadly.
But you know, the Nazis did invade France.
Yeah.
But she was arrested, and her beloved husband, she was crazy about her husband, he was arrested. She was beaten and tortured. He was beaten, tortured, and murdered.
Oh, my God.
And she went on the warpath. She tried to join...
She went on the warpath with words to expose, right?
Well, no. She tried to join the French resistance.
Oh, really?
Because she was a woman. They didn't.
Warpath.
They didn't think she would be a good guerrilla fighter, because that's what she wanted to do.
Oh.
And she moved to. She went to England. She got into the British Secret Service.
No kidding.
And then she went back and became a fighter in the mountains of the Auvergne, where I got these newspapers.
Huh.
And that's where she wanted her ashes buried. She lived to be 98 years old.
Oh, God bless her.
And to prove, I mean, she was a real fighter. I don't know how she did it, but they say she actually murdered a Nazi with her bare hands.
Oh, my goodness.
Before she died, she said, I killed a lot of Nazis. My only regret in life is that I didn't kill more.
Sounds like my kind of gal. I'm going to say that on the air.
And
Glorious Bastards.
I'm a non-violent vegan,
well,
but you know,
yeah, but what's a Nazi?
And she would, you know, she would lead these men through the Pyrenees and through the Aveyron Mountains. And she'd lead people to safety in Spain through this rugged territory.
She was a guerrilla fighter. She didn't want to just do the words. She was really going to go kill some Nazis.
Yeah.
The last protagonist, you have one more, and I want to show this wonderful piece, and you tell me as we put it up there.
And I don't know if there's a movie about her.
No, I didn't get to it. We didn't have it in but let me. Yeah, we'll check and see. But the last one, you tell me the name of the number 5 clip. Oh, there. You know what? I have to tell you, they're all equally good. I really mean that. The one Grecian lady, is it Lee Miller?
Lee Miller.
I'm a Hedy Lamarr guy, but that piece. But this is just stunning. Vicki, you've created 5 separate different.
I've got 5 women, 7 paintings.
So 2 of Hedy and 2 of Lee Miller.
2 of Hedy and 2 of
Josephine
Baker.
Okay.
I could do easily 2 of Lee Miller too, because she was so beautiful.
You're painting now as we're speaking. You have your other.
I've got one work that's like halfway finished. I've been painting in the gallery. So you can find me there.
Oh, I'm going to find you there.
You know,
Please go visit her. What's the
there.
address over there? It's Art Avenue. It's right next to Kojo's.
Right next to Kojo's.
One of the great streets in America.
Between Kojo's and Classico.
You know what? I think you should do. I think you should do one with all 5 of them in it. I know. I threw that in there, and then you got to put that number's going to be up there. Mm-hmm. That's a $25,000 piece. It's the season now.
Well, you know, some people
Vicki, this
get
is that good.
prices like that for their art. I don't
Vicki, this is that good. I want to see. Mr. Ford thought it was that good too. And I saw him talking to Paul about, we're talking art, as art dealers do.
Yeah.
But he was very high in this.
Wow.
And Andrew doesn't just say that.
No.
And I love this. I love the bent because I speak to you from my heart. I love her. That's what attracted me to Josephine Baker. I didn't know anything about these. But these women here.
Okay, she was so fascinating. How long do we have?
We got a couple minutes.
Can we
give me a couple minutes?
Okay, she was.
We got one more clip.
I believe she was an aristocratic kind of background. I'm not positive, but or aristocratic or bourgeois, one or the other. And she was Jewish, and she became a spy. But
another one, she became a spy.
Yeah, and women were good spies because no one suspected them. But
Gee,
this
that's part of the thing.
but this girl, she loved fast horses, adrenaline, men.
Yes.
She was a free spirit.
Yeah, she was a free
and she was a
spirit.
femme fatale.
Yes.
At the same time. But she was one of the most beautiful spies, or said to be, and I read that Ian Fleming actually fell in love with her.
Oh, this is the one that the base is the...
Yeah, maybe a Bond girl based on her, but she loved danger and adrenaline. One of the things that she did was she single-handedly approached a Gestapo leader and got 2 British pilots released just by threatening them.
Oh, my God. These women had some brass...
Yes, they did.
Yes.
And but apparently she was not suited to peacetime, because after the war she was sort of at loss for what to do. She became a bit of a vagabond.
No kidding.
And she didn't have a pension. She went from menial job to menial job.
Oh, my goodness. That's interesting.
And,
There's no
and
conflict
traveled
in her
and
life.
traveled the world.
Wow.
But she had, you know, she loved men. And she loved excitement, and there was a suitor that she did not like, that was jealous, that wanted her, and that's why I put the knife in the heart and the cardinal.
Oh, look at you.
He
something.
stabbed her to death at 38 years old.
Oh, my God. That's how it ends for her? Mm-hmm. That's not a happy ending.
Most of them did not have happy endings, but a few did.
But here's what you pointed to on this Veterans Day. These were fighters in every sense of the word.
Oh, yeah.
As much as the guys in the trenches
were
in World War II, World War I. If it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't for these ladies and their guts and stamina, etc.,
they
and
were
a word I
important.
won't use,
Mhm.
unbelievable. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. The exhibit goes through when, Vicki?
Around mid-December.
Mid-December?
Yeah.
Please go. The prices are going up with this art, as far as I'm concerned. No, listen to me. Listen, when I love something, it's this. I'm not telling you. This is great stuff.
Thank
you.
you.
Paul thinks it's great.
Paul
Andrew thinks
loves
it's
it
great.
too, yeah.
Andrew thinks it's great. Go see Vicki Chuff. It's a great exhibit. You know what? And take your class down there. Take people down there. This is stuff you've
I'm
been
not teaching anymore. I'm just painting.
No, but take your class down. Take your art
that would be a
students
great
down
thing for
to see.
students to see.
This is how an artist in live. You're down there sometimes painting.
I'm down there very often painting. And, you know, if someone wants to go and hear me tell the stories of the paintings to some
see that.
children or whatever, I will go down.
I want you to do really
you
well
know,
with
have
this.
them call Paul at Art
Have them-
Avenue
have them
and
call-
have me come, and I will come down and I'll tell the stories.
And
and
we're
talk
going to
about
run
the
a
paintings.
slide at the end of the show. But I want to. Mia did a nice 30-second spot here on the wonderful Veterans Day. We're celebrating today. Freedom isn't free. Over at Andrew's shop at Sarasota Training Company and State Auction, there's a Saving Private Ryan autographs.
Oh, wow.
And this is going to be hot off the press. I'm working on a showing of Saving Private Ryan on Pearl Harbor Day, which is December 7th, playing it at Burns Court. So we're going to let you know more. Let's go to this clip for Veterans Day that Mia put together.
I got the music.
So Vicki, there's these wonderful autographs. There's a Hanks and Spielberg. There's a Matt Damon and Hanks,
Wow.
and they're on the script. And to me, I have to tell you, as an American, as somebody D-Day and on the shores of France and Normandy,
Mm-hmm.
and me and Jay were over there. They were on a project last. That's Mia's evil laugh. I won't go that way. So it didn't turn out the way that it was like a D-Day for them too. But with that, without further ado, it's such a magical, special place, Normandy, Omaha Beach,
yeah.
and that film is so important for all Americans and France and America as compatriots fighting evil.
Mm-hmm.
And these women fighting evil. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Really great work. I really mean that.
you,
I mean,
Gus.
absolutely stunning. I think it's what you're going to be known for. I mean, you're going to paint for years, but right now, as the
I plan
record
to paint
goes,
to
I know, but
around
right
100.
now, this is my favorite stuff I've ever seen you do.
Thank you.
I want to thank my sponsors. I want to thank Bookstore One. Roxy's not here tonight. Bookstore One, Palm and Maine. It's a great bookstore. Georgia Court's down there. Great philanthropist, the arts supporter. Scene Magazine, who's going to be doing some stuff with us. I write for them. And I have a nice article coming out next month on It's Wonderful Life, which celebrates its 75th anniversary. And who else we have? We have Sarasota State Auction and Sarasota Trading Company coming up, a huge auction. Huge, with the Saving Private Ryan. There it is. This is a collage that Mia put together with. These are all the paintings that we've all put on the walls over there, Jay. And most of them have sold, and most of them have been picked up. And also Eric is our wonderful mechanic over there behind Livingston's. We're working on some other things. I want to let you guys know this is a great town for art, and you, because of people like yourself who are creating. You will go over there. You probably had no idea you were going to come up with this idea.
No.
And it's just, isn't it? It's like a magical surprise, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you did with your time. It's so
well,
fabulous.
yeah, traveling can really open the
It
spirit.
opens you up.
Yeah.
And traveling with your ex-husband and your husband. I guess there's a lesson there. We're going to end with the fabulous Hedy Lamarr, and in a film called Bombshell, which was on PBS, and it really kind of delves into kind of her genius as well as the beauty that she was.
Wow. Cool.
So we're going to end with that, but make sure you go see Vicki Chelf. She's down there painting. Paul's down there at Art Avenue on Palm. Thank you, Vicki, for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Continued success.
It's always so fun to talk to you.
You really deserve it because it's really great work.
Thank you.
$10,000, guys.
There we go.
She was the best-looking woman that ever lived. I don't know whether it's true, but you hear things.
She is this perfect underdog crime fighter by night story.
She was such a big star. She seemed so untouchable.
She was so ahead of her time.
She said more than once, "My beauty is my curse." And by that she meant people never got past her face.
There are stories almost like a prison escape.
She created her own reality, and I find that really fascinating.
She did have a secret.
Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, that's her technology.
You think, how could this be possible?
If I want to be harsh, I would say she was a plagiarizer.
You don't get to be Hedy Lamarr and smart.
I know what I did. There comes a point when you can't take any more, then you have to make yourself heard.